Hey everybody, it's David. Welcome. MSOM 601, Module 5 Preview. Module 5 Preview. I'm coming to you today from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. This is actually my hometown. It's where I did my undergraduate work at Southeast Missouri State University. Sits right here on the Mississippi River. They get quite a few of the old paddle boat cruises that stop here in Cape Girardeau because it's such a historic town on the river. And there's one here today. I think it starts in St. Louis and goes to New Orleans and then back. So just a beautiful day here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Module 5 this week continues on with some of the heady things that you've been able to discover over the last few weeks. This talks about heuristic thinking. Don't get afraid of that title. Heuristic thinking and reflective decision making. Heuristic thinking and reflective decision making. We're going to cover readings in 2 chapters this week. Chapter 10 talks about snap judgments and heuristic thinking. And you're presented with a 2-step systems approach that you can go through and think about this week. System 1 is more of an instinctive type of thinking. It's things that happen to you that you just respond to, things that are familiar to you, so therefore in some instances, it doesn't require a whole lot of deep thinking. You just react and do that. System 2 thinking is much more analytical because it relates to things that are less familiar to you and must be studied. And so make sure that you focus on those in Chapter 10 this week. And then Chapter 11 talks about reflective decision making. And this is to help you make sure that you're objective in your decision making. And in order to be objective in your decision making, there are two things that have to really happen. Well, there are many things that have to happen, but 2 of the things that are most important is that you need to be open-minded. Very, very tough, right? I mean, it seems that we all bring opinions and biases into analysis, into decisions, into concepts. But this requires, in order to be reflective in your decision-making process effectively, is that you be open-minded and that you have a desire, if you will, to seek truth out and to be truth-seeking. Okay? So it means, too, that you're not just simply looking for information to confirm your own opinion. How often does that happen, right? So if we were open-minded to look at different concepts, different ideas, we may confirm our own decision, but we simply will not allow those biases to dictate the way that we look at everything going forward. Pretty heavy and heady discussions this week. The discussion board talks about cognitive heuristics, decision shortcuts, if you will, that may involve some stereotypes that you have, some biases that you have. There are many different reasons for these. And so how can they both harm and help your decision-making process? Okay? So cognitive heuristics in the discussion board. And then the application exercise is really an application this week. There's a bonus exercise in Chapter 11 that talks about the Michael Brown Ferguson police officer issue. And being here in Missouri this week, that kind of strikes home with me. And so what I want you to do is to investigate that. What you may find is that both groups, if you will, on both sides of that decision were locked in. They were locked into their decision, which is kind of known as dominant structuring that you will read about this week. And so the question is how can you deal with issues when it appears that people around you, and maybe even yourself, are locked into it? And so take a look at this. This is one of those application exercises that I hope you put some time in, because I believe it's really important, certainly has application to other aspects of what you may or may not be doing today, okay? Miscellaneous, I encourage you to continue to read the textbook in depth. Some of you had some challenges on the tests over the last couple of weeks, and so make sure that you do that. I always encourage students to take the test last, do the last thing in the week, because you've gone over all the concepts, or many of the concepts, as you talk about in the discussion board. You go over many of the concepts as you write your paper, and then so it's just repetition. You get to the last piece to take the test, and you've covered the material many, many times, okay? Continue to look at my gradebook comments. And then finally, wouldn't be a module preview if I didn't say this. Make sure that you get used to the CSU online library to find your outside sources. Don't fight this. It's something that obviously if you get used to it, I believe it's going to help you as you go through. All right? If you need me, contact me. I'm going to be here with my parents this week, and look forward to chatting with you if you need me. All right? Take care. Talk to you soon.